We are live. Good morning. No problems getting on this morning. I hope you're all well. Please excuse the hair this morning. It's all a bit gone crazy in the night. I don't know about you guys, I'm feeling really tired as well this morning. So just the right kind of yoga class for me, and I hope for you too. Just a nice stretch, nice and relaxed, and nothing too crazy as always on a Sunday morning. As always, please just try to find a meditative space inside. Please don't worry so much about whether you're doing it right. Like I say, it's all very individual, the yoga practice. So just try to focus inside and just feel that tension release from your body. And yeah, don't worry too much. Just follow my guiding and just enjoy it. So we're going to start in child's pose. Let's start in wide-legged child's pose. So big toes touching, send the knees wide, sit back on the heels, and then just walk the hands forward. And then just lower the forehead to your mat. And such a wonderfully grounding posture. And it's always nice to start your practice in child's pose or on your back or just sitting just in complete stillness. And as always, just taking a moment just to notice how you feel, how the body feels. Notice if there are any emotions in the body. And noticing how the mind is as well, whether busy or whether quite quiet. For me, generally, my mind is a lot quieter first thing in the morning. And although it's more difficult to practice, or the body is more tense in the morning to practice yoga, I find that it's a more meditative practice when I practice first thing in the morning. In the afternoon, the mind's a little bit more busy for me, but the body seems a little bit more open. So I do prefer morning practices. So just bringing your awareness to your breath now. And then just start to lengthen your inhales and exhales. And just keeping the mouth closed now during the session, so just breathing through the nose. And just softening the face and the jaw. And taking an inhale, lift the gaze. And as you exhale, let's walk the hands over to the left. Just taking a little side stretch in. I really want you to send your breath into the right side of the body and use the breath to open the ribs there. Just feel that expansion through the ribs. Lifting the gaze. And inhale to walk your hands back to center. Exhale, taking them over to the other side. And again, just allowing the neck to be soft, the head heavy. And deep breaths into the left side of your body. Lift to the gaze. Inhale as you walk the hands back to center. Exhale, bring the hands towards us, bring the knees to hips width apart, and let's make our way to a tabletop position. So those fingers spread as always, the knees underneath the hips, and then let's just start to move into the wrist a little bit here. Just moving forward and round. Noticing how the wrists feel. And let's go in the opposite direction. Coming to a neutral position, and we'll take some cat-cows. So as we inhale, lift the tailbone, drop the navel, heart forward, lift the gaze. And as we exhale, tuck in tailbone under, rounding through the spine, the shoulders, chin comes into the chest. Inhale, lifting that tailbone, navel drops, heart moves forward, lift the gaze. And exhale, tuck tailbone under, rounding through the back, chin comes in. Let's do a few more rounds of each. As always, to the rhythm of your own breath, move a little bit more quickly or more slowly if you need to. And really feeling those abs stretch on your inhale. One more round. Coming back to a neutral spine. Your opportunity now just to move however feels good in your body. You can do some figure of eights around the mat. You can continue with those cat-cows. You can work into a little bit more side flexion. Whatever feels nice, just your chance to explore. Where are your areas of tension this morning? Maybe they're more in the hips. Maybe you want to come back into that child position. Work into the hips a little bit more. Maybe the wrists are feeling a bit tight, so you need more work in the wrists. Just a couple more breaths, just exploring. And we'll make our way back to our neutral tabletop position. So let's tuck the tailbone under slightly. Let's draw the navel in. So after a nice long spine here, nice and long through the neck, just gazing between the hands on your mat. Let's pick the right hand up, bring it to the right shoulder. As we inhale, we're going to come into a little twist. So open, peel the body open to the right side of the mat. Maybe lift the gaze. And then as we exhale, just lower that right shoulder back down. Inhale, open it up. Maybe lift the gaze and exhale. Roll the shoulder back down. Let's do one more. Inhale. Exhale. And switch hands. Right hand comes down. Left hand comes to the shoulder. Inhale, open up. Exhale. Just feel the twist in the upper back. Inhale to open. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Bringing that left hand back onto the mat. Let's send that left hand forward. Lowering down into a little bit of a puppy posture. We're going to keep the right hand just underneath the right shoulder and twist, open up to the right. This is going to stretch through that left shoulder a little bit more. So drawing the armpits, the left armpit towards the mat. And using that right hand on the mat just to create a little bit more twist. Nice deep breaths into the upper back. And coming back to center, take the right hand forward this time, lower the chest. The left hand, just underneath the left shoulder, left elbow. Just using that to help open up into a little twist here. And again, you should feel this through your shoulder, maybe into your upper arm, into your back, in your armpits as well. And coming back through center. Bring that right hand back towards you. We'll send the right foot back and stretch through these legs. So ball of the right foot on the mat and then just pressing back through that right heel. Just feeling that right leg wake up. And let's lift that right leg up. Stay nice and neutral in that spine, just checking that we don't start to dip. Keep pulling the tailbone under, and just check there's equal weight in the hands here, that you haven't started to lean out to the left. Pressing back through that right heel, point the toe, and let's pulse this right leg. So just little pulses, just to bring some energy into the leg, into the glutes. Just check that right hip isn't opening up to the right side of your mat. Keep it down in line with the left. And lowering that right foot back to the mat. Come onto the ball of that right foot again. Press back through that right heel. Little pulses. Your option to stay here. Your option to really press through the ball of that right foot. And then lift the left knee into the body. Just waking up the core, holding for 3, 2, and 1. Planting that left knee back down, bring the right knee to the mat. Sit back, have a little rest in child's pose. Maybe coming onto the fingertips, stretching through the shoulders a little bit more. And let's come back onto the hands. Let's send the left leg back. Pressing back through that left heel. And again, just checking our hand position so those fingers are spread. The wrists are underneath the shoulders, so the joints are stacked. And keeping that neutral spine. So again, just check that the core is switched on here as you lift that left foot up. And again, just check the hip isn't opening up, that you're dropping it down. And again, just keeping the integrity in your core, in that lower back. Think of the strength in the lower back. And just check that you're not leaning over to the right here. Trying to keep equal weight. And trying to keep the chest nice and open. So just check we're not collapsing here into the chest. Let's point the toe. And let's have those little pulses. It doesn't need to be a big movement. Keep the breath going. Nice and deep, nice and controlled. Staying long through the neck. And releasing that left foot back to the mat. And again, continuing those pulses. Pressing back through that left heel. Again, your option, continue doing this. We're going to work into that core a little bit more. Let's press into that left foot and lift the right knee into the body. Hold in for 3. Just keep the shoulders moving over the wrists for 2. And 1. Lower the right knee down. Lower the left knee down. Let's bring big toes to touch. Send the knees wide and sit back into our child's pose. And lifting the gaze. Bring the knees back underneath the hips. We'll tuck our toes under, send hips back and up. And let's find our first downward facing dog. So again, continuing to pedal into your legs. Notice how those legs feel. Maybe they're feeling a little bit more loose now as we stretch them out in our tabletop position. And let's walk the hands towards the feet. And we'll take a little forward fold. Bend the knees as much as you need to in your forward fold, especially as it's the first one. Just bring hands to the mat, just to the side and in front of the feet. Relax the head, relax the neck. And then if you feel good, you could start to straighten those legs. Maybe you want to walk through those legs again, like we did in our downward dog. If they're feeling particularly tight this morning, this might feel nicer than just holding and having stillness. Let's bring the left hand underneath the face. We'll bend into the left knee, straighten that right leg and reach the right arm high. Finding a little twist. Try to find space across the collarbones, across the front of the body. And let's switch. Right hand comes down, right knee bends, and reaching the left arm high. Again, just trying to find a little bit of reach and a little bit of twist in the upper back. Maybe just pop in and click in the back. It's all good. And bring in the left hand back down. Let's plant the hands again. And again, let's continue to work into those legs. They're feeling a little bit looser now. Your option to find that stillness, shift the weight forward into the balls of the feet. Work those sit bones high. Pull the body in to the legs. And just breathe into that tension. Let's walk those hands forward again. And let's find that downward facing dog. Draw the navel to the spine. And find length in your spine in your downward dog. Just allowing that energy to start to move a little bit more freely through your body. And let's drop the knees to the mat. Back into that tabletop position. On the top of the feet on the mat, we're going to pivot on that left knee. Send that right leg back. So we're in our side plank position. So our option one, again, we're just going to open that right side of the body a little bit more. Your option one is to stay here. Then take that right arm overhead. So working the strength in the left arm a little bit here. Maybe you're lifting your gaze to the ceiling. Just focus on feeling that length through the body. Sending the hips forward. Feeling that nice stretch through the lower back as well here. If you're going well, your option to lift the right leg up, lower it down. Lifting up, lowering down. So there's little pulses. We'll go for 3 more. On the last one, hold it at the top if you are in the pulses. Otherwise, that foot is just on the floor and you're enjoying that side stretch. And lowering that foot down. Bringing the right hand back to the mat. The right knee underneath the hip, and we'll do the other side. Pivot on that right knee and step that left foot out. And again, make sure you've got a good setup to begin with. So we're stacking the joints in that right arm. We're peeling the chest open and then reaching the arm overhead, finding that length through the left side of your body. And again, maybe you're lifting the gaze, a little stretch to the neck. If it feels good, if there's any pain in the neck, just keep it long. Don't allow it to sag. Keep it long. And just bring the ear by that arm is all good. And again, hips forward. If you're going well, little pulses. Keeping that breath controlled. We'll go in for 3 more. 2 more. 1 more. And let's hold if you can. So again, that left foot is on the mat. For 3. For 2. And 1. Lower that foot. The left hand comes back to the mat. Pivot back on that right knee. Bring the left knee back underneath that hip. Let's tuck the toes under, send hips back and up. And find that downward facing dog again. And breathing length into your spine. Really driving those hands down. Remember, in your downward dog, you can always have those knees bent if the hamstrings are tight. So you keep that length through the spine. And let's move forward. We'll find a high plank position. I'm not going to be here long. So again, if you're struggling holding a high plank, you can always take half plank. What you're going to do is keep that tailbone tucked under, keep the strength through the core, and then lower the knees down. Let's take an inhale and exhale, lower it all the way down onto the mat. Just bring the hands forward slightly, so as wide as your mat here. And we'll do some oscillating cobras. Come onto the fingertips. Think of drawing the shoulder blades together and down the back. And we'll inhale, lift up. Exhale. If there's any pinching in the lower back, just don't lift up so high. It doesn't matter if you're here. Inhale for 3. Inhale for 2. Inhale for 1. And let's hold. Let's plant the hands onto the mat. So coming into seal. If this is too much, come to your elbows and take Sphinx. And you're just working some opening through the upper back. Opening the front of the body. Press the feet into the mat nice and strong here. And just see if you can relax the glutes a little bit. And if it's too much, if there's pinching in that lower back, just come elbows to the mat. And release. Let's take a rest. Stack the hands. Just bring the head onto the hands. Nice deep breathing. And we're going to make our way into snake pose. Take the hands behind the back and interlace the fingers. So if you're tight in the shoulders, this is going to feel really, really tight already. But try, if you can, to pull the shoulder blades together and sending the hands away from the back a little bit, just lifting them off the bum. You're going to press the feet into the mat again, nice and strong through the legs, and then lift the heart up. So actively trying to press the hands towards the feet. And we'll hold for 5. Breathe in deep. For 4, lengthen the breath to control the nervous system. 3, 2, and 1. Release the hands. Elbows to the mat, stack the hands. Turn the head the opposite way now. Now bring in the hands by the chest. Let's tuck the toes under. We'll press the hips back towards the feet and lift up, downward facing dog. Let's bring that right knee forward, making our way into our swan pose. Now we're going to start to open into the glutes, into the outer hips. The knee is closed for our swan pose, and the heel is by that left hip. You're going to actively try to pull the hips forward and down. So just check that that back foot, the heel is pointing towards the ceiling, and you're on the top of the foot. The foot isn't pointing out, and we're in this kind of position. You can use blocks, pillows, blankets, towels underneath that right hip, just to provide a little bit of support if you are very, very tight in the hips. You're going to stay on the hands here. And you're also going to feel a nice stretch through the front of this left hip, as well as in that outer right hip for most people. You may need to wiggle around to find the stretch for you. So move the hips from side to side and find the work in the posture. So again, we're all slightly different. So we need to have a wiggle in posture sometimes to find where our tension is. And just because I might feel it in a certain area of my body in this posture doesn't mean that you're going to feel it in the same place. Just allow those hips to sink. Again, not an active swan, just relaxing completely. Pulling the right hip back as you send the left hip forward. Keeping that chest open. We're going to swing that left leg around now. And come into a twist. So your option 1, if you are really tight in the hips, you're just going to bring that left heel in front of that right foot. Otherwise, if you've got a little bit more, you're hooking the Achilles around the outside of that left knee. Again, don't have the foot too far up that right thigh, not here, here. So it's just catching. And then the intention, most people, the left sit bone is going to be lifted. The intention now is to get that sit bone grounded. Doesn't matter if it grounds or not, that's just the intention. Press that sit bone down, and you'll draw length into the spine rather than having a little curve in the spine here. And we're twisting over to the left. So take the left hand behind the back. Try not to lean into that left hand. Try to keep the weight in the hips. Again, it's just a little bit of a support. Right hand onto that left knee. And just twist, open up, and gaze in over your left shoulder. You can take whatever variation feels nice in this posture, staying here. You can hook the elbow if you wish. You can take a bind by taking the hand through the hole, catching the opposite hand behind the back if you wish, or you can take the foot. Again, it doesn't matter as long as we're feeling the opening in the upper back. Can you draw the navel towards the spine to create more space in your abdomen and also engage your bandhas? And as you're twisting, I always say about that, like ringing and rag out, don't focus all on the upper body, about forcing the upper body around. Think about what the lower body is doing. So you're trying to bring the navel back to the top of the mat as you twist the upper body. And there you've got both ends of the rag working. We'll stay here a couple more breaths. You should feel a nice stretch as well to the outer left hip. And looking back to the front, releasing from this posture. You're going to swing that left leg back around. Come back onto the hands. Tuck the back toes under. Let's find that downward facing dog again. And dropping that left knee to the mat, finding swan on the left side. So sit back, keeping that knee closed, and find where feels good for you. So feeling that stretch through the front of the right hip and the outer left hip. Right hip presses forward, left hip pushes back. You can have a wiggle around. Maybe you want to use a block or a cushion underneath that left hip, especially if you feel that you're rocking over to the left. And again, the spine is starting to go a little bit skewiff. Try to keep that spine nice and upright, nice and long. And breathe. Just notice the tension in your body in this posture. Try to relax the face. Relax into the posture as much as you can. Staying open through the chest. We'll stay here a few more breaths. Think of drawing the shoulders away from the ears, shoulder blades down the back. And we're going to swing that right leg around now to come into that twist. So again, you're hooking the ankle, Achilles just outside of that left knee, or you're taking the variation if it's too much to take that foot around. Bringing the right hand behind the back, keep the weight in the hips and twist, open up to the right. Again, intention to get that right sit bone grounded. And we'll stay here breathing. And again, remember about drawing the navel back towards the top of the mat as you spin the upper body around. And use the breath, nice deep inhales between the shoulder blades. And hopefully you'll feel that breath helping to open the muscles there. Every inhale, finding a little bit more length. And every exhale, just twisting a little bit deeper. And the elbow presses into the knee presses back into the elbow, or again it's the hand if you're just using the hand. Find those opposing forces in your practice. And everything gets a little bit deeper, a little bit more engaged and aware. We'll stay here a few more breaths. Keep moving with that breath. Keep finding the work. And look around your body from the inside. And looking back to the front. And releasing, sending that right leg back. Coming onto the hands, tuck the back toes under. And send the left foot back to meet the right, finding that downward facing dog. Let's bring the right foot forward now into a low lunge. So right knee over the ankle. In fact, let's keep that left knee off the mat just to begin. So hopefully we've stretched the front of the left hip a little bit. And just taking some little movements here. So maybe rocking forwards and backwards, maybe lifting the hips up and down. Whatever feels nice. Maybe a combination of the two, maybe rolling the hips side to side. And then straighten that right leg a little bit here. Just stretching through the back of that right leg. You can use blocks either side of the body here. And again, that leg doesn't have to be straight. It's just to the point that you can feel a release, feel a stretch with that right leg. Send the heart forward a little bit. If you're going well, maybe you're rolling, rounding over that right leg. And then bringing the right knee back over the ankle, dropping the left knee to the mat. So now we're in a low lunge. We're going to bring that left knee forward a little bit so that it's underneath the right hip. So it's not a lazy lunge. And we're going to tuck the tailbone under, pull the lower ribs in. So almost trying to round through the back here. Driving that right foot into the mat and feeling a release through the quadricep in that left leg. Soften the shoulders. You can have the hands on that right leg if you wish, pushing back. So it's a subtle movement, subtle work in the body, but we're getting a lot going on in this left leg. And keep working, keep breathing. Every inhale, you're just bringing fresh oxygen into the body, bringing that energy in. And every exhale, just imagine you're releasing all that tension that you feel on your exhale. Let's bring the left hand onto the right knee. Take the right arm forward, and we'll take another little twist. Just reaching back. As we do this, just check that we don't start to escape the work in that left leg. So keep pulling that tailbone under. Maybe you're looking back towards that right hand. Again, use that left hand on that right leg. And coming back to the front, let's plant the hands. Pick that left knee up, tuck those back toes, and send that right foot back to meet the left, finding your downward dog. Let's bring the left foot forward. It doesn't matter if it doesn't make it all the way forward. You can grab the ankle with the hand, move it forward. You can drop that knee, swing it around first, and then pick that right knee back up. So check the left knees over the ankle. And again, let's just start those little movements, those little pulses. Forwards and backwards, up and down. Just explore. Again, maybe rocking those hips side to side. Feeling that stretch through the front of the right leg. And then straightening that left leg. Stretching out the hamstrings. Stretching out the back of that left leg. You can continue to make some subtle movements if you wish in the body. Or you can find stillness. You can round down if you wish. Just keeping the focus inside. Where is your tension right now? Can you breathe into it? And bringing that left knee back over the ankle, we'll drop the right knee to the mat. So again, you may need to shuffle that right knee forward a little bit just to check it's underneath that right hip. And we're coming into another lunge. So again, tuck your tailbone under. Just that little tuck in of the tailbone motion will really start to work into that right leg. Again, you can hold it here, really connect that left foot into the mat. You can bring hands onto that left knee if you wish, and pressing into that left leg a little bit if you want to. Just be honest with yourself. Try not to escape the posture. If you escape the posture, you escape the work, and there's no point us being here. So just breathe. Control the mind by controlling the breath. Control the nervous system by controlling the breath. Soft shoulders, soft face. Left hand onto the outside of, right hand, sorry, onto the outside of that left knee. Left arm forward and finding that twist again. As we open up into that twist again, just be mindful that we don't lose the work in that right leg. Keep pulling that tailbone under and keep finding length through the spine every inhale and every exhale. Maybe you're twisting a little bit deeper. This doesn't feel good for the knee. I should have said on the other side, but you can always put a towel underneath the knee or a blanket. One more breath here. And coming back to the front, plant the hands, we'll tuck the back toes under, lift the knee up, and send that left foot back to meet the right in your downward facing dog. Let's drop knees to the mat and swing the legs around. And we'll find a seated position. So feet together. You can sit on a block or a cushion here again if you are really tight in the hamstrings and the knees are bent, or you feel that the weight is shifting back. Let's sit on a block. Just going to come into a simple forward fold. Let's keep the chest open. Let's keep the back straight, shoulders away from the ears, and just start to move the pelvis forward. As soon as that chest starts to collapse, you're going to stop. So wherever that is, think of keeping that chest open, that beacon of light coming from your heart. We don't want it to be closed off. We want it to keep reaching forward. You can take hold of the feet, you can take the ankles, the shins. If you have a strap and you're really tight, you can use the strap. But don't pull so hard on the strap that you're creating tension in your upper body, tension in your face. It's just a little bit of help with that strap. And again, just move with your breath. Inhale to find a little bit more length in the spine to pull those hips back. And exhale to send the heart forward towards those toes. And releasing, bringing the hands back towards us. Let's come into reverse table. Let's bring hands behind the back. It's going to work our shoulder extension. It's a variation of our Pavottanasana from the Ashtanga primary series. So the feet hips width apart. Your option one is just to send the heart open, draw the shoulder blades onto the back, or together, should I say. Chest open, and just to stay here, keep the neck long, maybe lifting the gaze. Your option two is to start to lift the hips up. If you're going well, your option three is to press with those glutes, lifting the hips nice and high. And again, keeping that neck long, just gaze into the ceiling. If you're going well here, your option four is to start to rock forwards and backwards. And this is really going to work into your shoulder extension. It's going to work into the strength in the legs. Let's see if we can stay for 3 more breaths. Let's keep the work. Don't do anything too much. Just find what your body needs this morning. And bring chin to the chest. Lower the hips down. And release. Let's straighten those legs again. And let's take them wide this time. So the toes point back towards the body. Look at where your feet are. Look at where your knees are. So we want the knees pointing directly to the ceiling and the toes pointing directly to the ceiling. Making sure you're on your sit bones. So move your glutes out from underneath the sit bones if you need to. And also sit on a block, sit on a cushion if you need to. We'll take an inhale. And as we exhale, just starting to fold forward again. Walk the hands down the legs. Or you can have the hands in front of you here. Just relax the shoulders, relax completely. Keep the work in the legs. So think of pulling those hips back. Sit bones go back to the wall behind you and heart moves forward. Moving with that breath. Can you find a little bit more strength in the legs? Notice what happens in the hips when you engage the quadriceps, when you pull the legs into the hips. We'll stay 2 more breaths. One more breath. And walking the hands back towards you. And bring the soles of the feet together, finding our Baddha Konasana. So heels close to the groin to begin with. Stay on a block if you're using a block, if the weight is still shifting backwards. We're going to take hold of the feet. As always, your option 1 is just to work those knees apart. So think of sending the knees nice and wide whilst keeping that chest open. Your option 2, as always, is to start folding forward. And you can open the soles of the feet up here as well. But again, try not to round through the spine here. Keep that heart open. And again, the hips pull back, the heart presses forward. And engage the glutes. When you engage the glutes, the knees will naturally come a little bit closer to the mat. So again, always looking around the body. Notice where we need to work. Notice where we're making too much effort. Maybe there's an area we can relax, we can soften. And always notice the energy in the body. Notice if the body feels a bit more spacious, a little bit more open, or if you're creating more tension and you're blocking the energy in the practice. And lift the gaze, releasing. Let's bring the right leg in front of left. Working into the hips a little bit more. So as always, if double pigeon is in your practice and you want to stack that right leg on top of the left leg, you can do so. You can use blocks, cushions underneath your knees, your legs to make it a little bit more comfortable. Otherwise, just keep that right foot in front of the left. Take an inhale. And as we exhale, option 1 is to stay upright. If this is enough in your hips, stay here. Otherwise, you can start to fold forward. And just breathe in nice and deeply in this posture. And just notice it should be the right hip in most people. The right hip is going to feel it the most in this posture. If there's any pain around the knees, just pull back, especially if you're in double pigeon. And going all the way up. Let's bring the left hand onto the mat. Let's take the right arm high. And we'll take a little bit of side flexion. Drawing that right sit bone to the mat. Going up through center and taking it over to the other side. Just notice how the movement affects the hips. Coming up through center and release. Let's switch the legs. Left leg in front of the right now. Flexing the ankles. Flexing the ankles always protects the knees a little bit. So it adds a little bit more support into the muscles in the legs. Again, stack the feet on the left foot over the right knee. If you're going for your double pigeon today, my hips feel a little bit better today, so I'm going to attempt my double pigeon on this side as well. But again, you can use some blocks, especially if you're like this. If you're really high like this in your double pigeon, then I would suggest just going for the variation with the left leg in front of the right. So again, staying tall, your option one. Just breathing into those hips. If you're going well, just start to fold forward. And just noticing how the hips are again. Noticing maybe the left feels a little bit tighter than the right, or vice versa. And again, applying it to your life. So if sometimes your hips feel tight, look at what you've been doing the day before or in the week. Look at how you've been sitting at your desk. Your back feels tight or your shoulders feel tight. Is there anything in your daily life that you can change to avoid creating tension in your body? And if you can't escape the tension that you create, say if you run or if you cycle, then can you do something after running or cycling to release the tension straight away so it doesn't start to build up? And coming back up. Let's bring right hand onto the mat. Inhale, find length. And exhale, a little bit of side flexion over to the right. You breathe in into the left side of the body. Inhale, coming up through center. Exhale, out to the left. And inhale through center. Exhale, release. Let's bring the feet onto the mat. We're going to come into a little bit of a shoulder stretch. It might be a little bit difficult. We're going to bring the hands onto the lower back with the palms facing away from us. And we're going to hook the elbows inside of the knees. And it's going to stretch the muscles in the back, the muscles in the arms. If this feels okay, you can start to draw those knees towards each other. If it doesn't feel okay, then maybe just be here, just stretching, pressing the elbows forward as much as you can. It can be quite an intense posture. Just breathe into it. And releasing. Just going back into a comfortable seat. Let's take the right arm high, bend the elbow, and draw the right elbow towards the center line of your body. Nice deep inhales, full exhales. Releasing, let's do the other side, left arm up, bend the left elbow. And again, take the left elbow with the right hand this time, drawing that elbow towards your center line. Release, bring hands onto the knees, drop the chin to the chest, soften the shoulders away from the ears. Close the eyes. Maybe making some circles, nice and slowly, with your head. Just working into all the neck muscles. As you draw the chin down, try to keep it as close to the chest as you can. Nice and slowly as you make those circles. Just feel the tension release. And bringing your head back to center. We'll straighten the legs. And we'll make our way down to a lying down position. Let's take the arms overhead. Interlace the fingers. Take a nice deep stretch. Draw the knees into the chest. Give yourself a squeeze. A little rock from side to side. Drop the feet onto the mat. Your option to come into Supta Baddha Konasana, reclined Cobblers posture. So soles of the feet together again, allow the knees to fall out to the side. You can have the arms overhead or by your side, or your option to come into your usual Shavasana with the legs straight and the arms by your side. Creating space with the arms and the space between the arms and the body, with the palms facing up. So just whatever feels good in your body. The chest nice and open, the neck long. If you have a blanket, of course, cover yourself with your blanket, or put your jumper on, or your socks. Just close the eyes. And just allow the body to be totally heavy now, totally relaxed. Just draw your awareness to your breath, to your natural breath. Just notice how it moves in the body. Noticing the wind in the nostrils and in the throat. And as you rest here, just know that right now you are enough. That you are exactly where you need to be at this moment in time. And that you are loved. You are cared for. And you are perfect as you are right now. And let's start to deepen those breaths again. And when you're ready, just bring in the feet or the knees together if you tuck the knees wide. And let's take a deep stretch again. Send the fingers and toes as far away from each other as you can. And draw your knees into your chest. Give yourself a cuddle. Show yourself compassion. You are doing your best on this journey through life. And that is all we can do. Rock into your right hand side when you're ready. Blinking the eyes open and joining me again in a comfortable seated cross-legged position. We'll bring our hands into Anjali Mudra to our heart center. Just reconnect with the breath. And I'll finish with a mantra. Join me in the mantra if you know the mantra. Take an inhale. Exhale. Inhale for Om. Swasti Prajabhyaha Paripalayantam Nyayena Magena Mahi Mahishaha Go Brahmanebhyaha Shubhamastu Nityam Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu Sarve Jana Sukhino Bhavantu Samasta Samangalani Santu Loksha Kalyana Samvredi Rastu Vishvashanti Rastu. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Hare Om. Raising your hands to your head for kindness in your thoughts to yourselves and to others, to your hearts for kindness in your actions, and to your lips for kindness in your words. From my heart to your heart, always. Namaste. Thank you for joining me for a nice stretchy yoga class. I hope you feel relaxed in your body, calm in your mind, and yeah, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. I hope you're all safe in this crazy world right now. I don't know what's going on. I feel like Towley in an episode of South Park. I have no idea what's going on. It's all a little bit wild, a little bit crazy out there. But then I look outside and everything's fine where I am. So sometimes it's good to turn off our TVs and not be absorbed into all this fear and stuff that's happening right now. But yeah, it is a crazy time, and I can see some messages coming through. So I hope you are all staying safe at this time. Oh, Rosie, hello. And Sally, oh, lovely. Yeah, it was nice for me as well. Look at my hair today. Oh dear. Looks like I've been dragged out of bed and thrown on my mat to teach, which is pretty much what happened this morning. But no, I always enjoy teaching you guys. So I hope you're enjoying. And yes, please like the video if you liked the video. Please share the video or any of my other videos with others who you might think will like them. Please subscribe if you haven't yet subscribed. And or donate. Please donate if you're financially able to do so. Otherwise, just enjoy for free. I will be back with you. We've got a new timetable next week, so look out for that. Yeah, trying something a little bit different next week, so look out. I'll be with you from tomorrow, as always, in the evening. So, and yeah, I'm doing more outdoor stuff, group classes and one-to-ones. So if you are local to me, do get in touch. Otherwise, that's it. Go and enjoy your day, enjoy your Sunday. Stay safe, stay sane, and I shall see you in a week or next week if you're joining me next Sunday morning. Namaste, namaste, namaste. Love to you all. Bye.